Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to our CHL Alumni series. So, in last episode, we did the Ottawa 67s, which I chose, and they had some current NHLers like Logan Couture, Tyler Toffoli, Peter Mrazek, just to name a few. And then they also had a couple legends like Doug Wilson and Dennis Potvin. I asked you guys what team should I do next, and I got a comment from Garrett Knowlton suggesting to do the Owen Sound attack, so that's what I did. Most of Owen Sound's current roster, not current roster, their alumni roster is comprised of current NHLers, unlike the 67s. They have a couple legends, but not much. Like, they have players that played when they were the Owen Sound Platers, which was in the 90s. So, yeah, let's just go to their jerseys and show you guys what their jerseys look like, and then we'll hop over to what their roster is. So there's the logo, or the only logo I use is the bear claw, so you guys could tell. There also is an O, but I don't really use it for anything. So, but here's the team uniform. As you can see, it's got the Owen Sound Attack current colors as best as I could, and as well as the logo has the yellow on it. Even though it's not the bear, I could have used the bear as the logo, but I decided just to go with the bear claw because it's nice and simple. Then we got the away jersey, which is just reversed in color. Still looks pretty nice. And we got the alternate jersey, which I don't know if I really like it because it's got the yellow stripe on it and stuff like that, but this might have been a bit of an older jersey, but still looks kind of neat. So that is the jerseys. Let's hop on over to the rosters. Okay, guys, so here is the rosters for the Owen Sound Attack alumni roster. So you got on the first line Andrew Burnett, who's one of the legends on the team. Andrew Burnett was a player who played for the Minnesota Wild, most notably. He also played, I think, for the Atlanta Thrashers for a short bit, Nashville Predators, that sort of thing. He put up 295 points in 195 games with the Owen Sound Attack, or at that time it was the Owen Sound Platers, I believe. He played with them from 1990 to 1993. And yeah, that's Andrew Burnett. Then you got Brad Richardson, who still currently plays for the Arizona Coyotes. More of a defensive, like bottom six player. But in his time with the Owen Sound Attack, he put up 213 points in 208 games. He played with them from 2001 to 2005. Next, you got Wayne Simmonds, who's probably the best player that's came from this organization ever, other than Bobby Ryan, who's below him. But Wayne Simmonds, he only played 95 games with them because he was traded afterwards to Sault Ste. Marie, the Greyhounds, but he did put up still 88 points in 95 games with Owen Sound, so he didn't play that long there, only 2006 to 2008, but he was still a very good player that came from the Owen Sound Attack organization. Next on the second line, you got Josh Bailey, who's another bottom six kind of two-way player. So there's a lot of two-way kind of guys that came from the Owen Sound organization. Josh Bailey obviously still plays for the Islanders. He was actually a pretty high up pick too, 9th overall in the draft. When he played for the Owen Sound Attack, he put up a total of, where is this? He put up a total of 52 points in 82 games because he eventually got traded to Windsor. So once again, this guy didn't actually stay around that long. So yeah, he went to the Spitfires eventually, and the Spitfires have had very good players all throughout their careers, or their history, I should say, more. And next, this one's a bit of a sad one. You got Dan Snyder. Dan Snyder played with them back in 1995 to 1999 before he was drafted by the Atlanta Thrashers, and a couple of years later, he was the victim of the Danny Heatley car accident. So yeah, that was a very sad one to make. Rest in peace, Dan. So, yeah, his point totals there, I should mention that. He put up 221 points in 230 games. He was almost a point per game. And then in the NHL, he was actually pretty decent as well. But he seemed like more of a fighting kind of guy as well. So, I wish we would have been able to see more out of Dan Snyder. But, unfortunately, he had to have passed away. So, that's a little bit sad. But anyways, On to Bobby Ryan, who obviously still plays for my favorite team, the Ottawa Senators. Bobby Ryan was there for his entire time in the OHL. He put up 325 points in 249 games, and he played with them from 2003 to 2007. Next, you got Kirk Maltby, who's one of those other legends on the Owen Sound attack. He spent pretty much his entire career in Detroit. I think he also might have been a draft pick from a different team. I don't know for sure, but he played with Detroit for pretty much his entire career, I think. Maybe Edmonton is where he played, yeah. I think it was Edmonton. But yeah, he played in Detroit, won a few Stanley Cups, I believe, in his time. He put up 184 points in 91 games, not 99. And he played with from 1989 to 1992. So that's that. Then you got another legend, Wayne Primo, who's the brother of Keith Primo. They look almost identical, actually, too, which is kind of funny. So I don't know if they're twins or what, but he put up 252 points in 225 games from 1992 to 1996. But in the NHL, he was more of a enforcer guy. Like, he did score some goals, but he never got over, I think it was in over 15 goals in the regular season. So he wasn't that much of an offensive producer in the NHL, but he was in the OHL. Then you got Andrew Shaw, who currently plays for Montreal. Obviously, he did play for Chicago just last year or the year before. He also is more of a grinder kind of guy in the NHL, but when he played for the Owen Sound attack, he put up a total of 54 points in 66 games. I think he eventually got traded. I don't remember where, though. Or he changed leagues or something like that. But yeah, he played only one season with the Owen Sound attack. Yeah, he only played from 2010 to 2011, so I think he might have been in a different league before then, so he only played this season in the OHL, and then he went on to the NHL the following season. Next, you got another grinder who's annoying like Andrew Shaw. You got Sean Avery, who obviously is known for just being a little bit of a douchebag. He did score some goals, too, in his time. Sean Avery put up 130 points in 133 games with the Owen Sound attack / Owen Sound Platers, I guess, back then. He played with them from 1996 to 1999, so he was a teammate of Dan Snyder. Next, you got the GOAT from Johnny's GM modes way back, Jamel Smith, who most recently, I guess, played for the Owen Sound attack. He played with them from 2010 to 2014. Currently, he plays for the Dallas Stars AHL affiliate, which is the Texas Stars. He's just going to be like a bottom six kind of guy. Next, you got Joel Ward, who still plays for San Jose. Had a chance to win a cup last year against Pittsburgh, but just missed out on one. Joel Ward put up 62 points in 67 games there from 1997 to 2001. He was actually on the Owen Sound Platers, and then he was part of the time when they changed over to the Owen Sound attack. So he's one of the original members of that sort of thing. They actually used to also be a different team. I can't remember what it was. They used to be the Platers from a different city, but then it changed over to the Owen Sound Platers and so on like that. So next, you got the defensive core, which the defensive core is pretty nice for the first few, and then afterwards it drops off considerably. So you got Mark Giordano, and Mark Giordano spent his time here from 2002 to 2004, put up a total of 97 points in 133 games. Obviously, he's now the captain of the Calgary Flames. He went undrafted as well, which is kind of crazy. I believe he spent 1 year in like Russia or something in like 2003-04 or 2005-06. I can't even remember. But yeah, he's one of the best defensemen probably that's played for the Calgary Flames. He put up, I already said, okay. Andre Sekera, who's a rival, I guess, of Giordano. He plays for the Edmonton Oilers. Sekera and Giordano would have played in the same time frame, I believe. Yeah, they both played around the same time, and last season that Giordano played was the first season that Sekera played, so they might have been teammates. Andre Sekera put up 83 points in 103 games from 2004 to 2006. Eventually he was drafted by the Buffaloes. Was it Buffalo or Carolina? I don't remember, but he played for Buffalo, Carolina, all those type of teams. I think it was Buffalo. But yeah, Andre Sekera, pretty good defenseman. Then you got Chris Biggers, who most recently played also for the Owen Sound Attack. He played with them from 2011 to 2015, and he was drafted by the Colorado Avalanche in the second round. He's been put into their minor league team, which I believe is the San Antonio Rampage. I don't know if he's playing he played in the NHL this regular season, probably, but he is a pretty good defensive prospect for Colorado at the moment. Then you got Bobby Sanguinetti, and this guy, he was actually a pretty high up pick as well, I believe, and he put up 142 points in 202 games as a defenseman. Eventually, Bobby Sanguinetti did not turn out to be anything, as he was drafted 21st overall. But in the NHL, he played a few games in the NHL, and then eventually he decided to head over to the KHL because I guess he wasn't getting his NHL time that he wanted. So he eventually just switched leagues and left the NHL completely. You could find him in this game on the Swiss A League on Cloten Flyers, I think they're called. Next up, you got Theo Peckham, who's another one of those type of guys. He was a third-round pick by the Edmonton Oilers in 2006. He put up 60 points in 181 games with Owen Sound from 2004 to 2007. I think he won almost the Stanley Cup with Chicago, but I'm not 100% sure, but he played with Edmonton, Chicago, and I think that was pretty much it. And then he decided to leave it over and go over to Europe, I believe, as well. He was a free agent in this game. I think he was in Germany last year, but I could be wrong with that as well. But yeah, he's bounced around between leagues as well. And then you got Jake Dotchin, who's a solid defensive prospect in Tampa Bay. I think he actually played this season. He was a 6th-round pick back in 2012. When he played for Owen Sound, he put up 33 points in 102 games from 2011 to 2013. So kind of recent that he played for them. Now, on our way to the goalies, there is some pretty nice goalies, or some decent goalies, I should say, not pretty nice ones, but you got Jordan Binnington, who was a 3rd-round pick by the St. Louis Blues in 2011. He's been spending most of his time in Chicago in the AHL. I don't know how Chicago's done with AHL stuff, but he's been playing with them for that. So he played only 107 games with Owen Sound, going 54, 39, and 8, so a pretty decent winning record. Unlike these next two goalies, you got Curtis Sanford, who played for the St. Louis Blues, the Vancouver Canucks. I think eventually he went over to the KHL and played with Yaroslavl Lokomotiv after that plane crash that happened. But Curtis Sanford, he played 158 games with Owen Sound from 1996 to 2000, and he went with a record of 55, 60, and 14. So basically, he went 55 and 74, which is not very good at all. So obviously his game did not transpire over to the NHL, and he was more of a fringe starter. Like, he started some games, but he was a backup as well. So that's Curtis Sanford. Now we go to the scratch list. So we got Paul Bissonnette, who obviously is a big enforcer kind of guy. Paul Bissonnette, though, in his time with Owen Sound, put up 13 points in 35 games. I decided just to put him on here just because Tad and another NHL player. I don't know if he was more of a grinder there as well, if he put up a lot of penalty minutes. I have to look that up eventually, but yeah, he also played for the Arizona Coyotes, got traded to the LA Kings, and I think he now plays for the Ontario Reign of the OHL. Now you got another LA King. You got Trevor Lewis. Trevor Lewis was in the USHL. He's born in Salt Lake, Utah. He moved over to the OHL for one season only to play with the Owen Sound Attack from 2006 to 2007. He put up 73 points in his 62 games that he spent with the Owen Sound Attack. Then next you got another goaltender. You got Brent Johnson, and Brent Johnson bounced around between teams like Washington, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, I think maybe Arizona, but I could be wrong with that. Just a couple of teams. He went 47, 65, and 3 in 126 games with Owen Sound from 1994 to 1997. And then finally, you got Scott Walker, who it was the captain, I think, or one of the best players that was back on Nashville back in the early 2000s. He did have almost a 50-goal season, I believe, one year. Back in the OHL, though, he put up 129 points in 110 games from 1991 to 1993. He also played for Carolina, went on to, I don't know if he won a Stanley Cup with Carolina, but he played with Carolina and Nashville, and then he was originally drafted by the Vancouver Canucks. But yeah, that is the alumni roster, guys, for the Ottawa 67, or not the Ottawa 67s, the Owen Sound Attack. So if you guys would like to see more teams, suggest those down below in the comments. I'll be doing whatever one I want to do out of those ones, or maybe I'll just do like put up a couple teams on a straw poll and you guys vote or something. But other than that, that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.